over in New York. It is amazing that there are so many badly governed areas of the United States that insist, again, just like the Biden administration insists we're not a recession, a lot of badly governed areas insist they're really well governed and they are encouraging people to come back. So you've got Gavin Newsom in California encouraging everybody to come back to California. Meanwhile, they're talking about locking down again. And by the way, the cities that have the highest numbers of people leaving are all in California. According to CNBC.com, from coast to coast, prospective homebuyers are on the hunt for affordability, even if it means leaving their city to find it. A record number of potential U.S. homebuyers are seeking to relocate, according to a report published last week by real estate brokerage firm Redfin. The report ranked the cities Redfin users appeared most likely to try to leave. Here are the cities. You ready? San Francisco, L.A., New York. This is not a shock in any way whatsoever because living standards in those cities have declined markedly. In fact, I'm going to read you the names of the top 7 cities. You ready? Here we go. San Francisco, L.A., New York, Washington, D.C., Seattle, Boston, Detroit. You noticing something about those cities? These are some of the most liberal cities in America. I mean, those are major, and here are the cities with the highest level of incoming. You ready? These are the cities with the most net inflow. You ready? Here we go. Miami, Tampa, Florida, Phoenix, Sacramento, which the reason people are moving to Sacramento is they're moving out of San Jose and they're moving out of San Francisco, Las Vegas, Cape Coral, Florida, San Diego, Northport, Florida, San Antonio, Dallas. Okay, so all these blue staters are talking about, come back to our city. We're running things beautifully. Meanwhile, everybody is leaving. I'm looking at, again, at those, the 2 worst cities in America for people leaving right now are both in California, and the third is New York. And then you look at these cities that are seeing the influx of homeowners. You're talking about in the top 10, 1, 2, 3, 4 in Florida. 4 of those cities are in Florida. And 2 are in Texas. San Diego is a red city in a very, very blue state. Phoenix is in a red state. Las Vegas, Nevada is in a zero tax state. So, yeah, your governance is garbage, and that is why people are running screaming from your cities. Meanwhile, Democrats keep saying, what if we got the leadership of these cities and these states to lead the country? Gavin Newsom is one of the people they're talking about for president of the United States right now. Meanwhile, you got Eric Adams, who is running ads in Florida, trying to encourage people to come back from Florida to New York. So first of all, anybody who feels the inkling to do so, please leave. Like, seriously, go. Get out of my new home state. Go back to New York. Take your values with you. We don't want you here. No one is interested in you bringing your garbage New York governance down here to Florida. No one is interested in the slightest. The reason being, because it turns out that everything is out of control in New York City. Eric Adams came into office pledging that he was going to stop the crime. Well, so far, that is going extraordinarily poorly. So, for example, over the last couple of days, video emerged from New York of a pedestrian being struck by a car and then being robbed twice while he was laying on the ground. According to NBC New York, a jaw-dropping robbery was caught on camera in which police said the victim was stolen from twice by the people responsible for ramming him with a car in the Bronx. Dramatic video of Saturday morning's hit-and-run robbery shows a 39-year-old man jogging the final steps of a crosswalk, landing on the sidewalk when a black four-door sedan swerves off the roadway directly into the victim. This apparently happened along East 169th Street around 6:40 a.m. The man flips over into the air. I mean, you can see the video. It's totally insane. And then you can see what happens next. So there he is trying to avoid the car. The car hits him. He's lying on the pavement. And then people get out of their car and they run up to him and they rob him. But that's not enough. Apparently they forgot some more of his stuff. So they ran back and they run to his prone body and they rob him again. The 39-year-old is suffering significant body trauma, still listed in critical condition as of Sunday. So that is going really, really, really well. Of course, the descriptions of the suspect shall remain completely anonymous. They're still at large right now, but we can't describe them because to do so would be politically incorrect. That's the way it works in the media. We're not allowed to describe the suspect because to do so might promote stereotypes about crime. Meanwhile, in another crime story from the city of New York, a pastor was robbed at gunpoint on tape. There is a Brooklyn pastor, a black Brooklyn pastor, who was robbed at gunpoint during a live stream session. Shockingly, not by members of the KKK, but by street criminals. So here's some of the tape. This is unbelievable. This occurred at the Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries.
All right.
They're being held up at gunpoint. 3 armed masked men storm the podium. The bishop's name is Lamore Whitehead, who's delivering a sermon. and they walk up and they just take his jewelry. And they stroll right on out. According to the New York Post, police said the bandits took $400,000 worth of jewelry from Whitehead, his wife, and possibly churchgoers. Whitehead, dressed in a maroon suit with a gold-trimmed collar and sleeve cuffs, was wearing a long gold chain and a large ring on each finger at the time. The robbers fled east on Avenue D after the crime. Again, the robbers are still at large, but we are not allowed to actually note any description of the robbers whatsoever, because to do so would be politically incorrect. That's the way that it works in the media. By the way, it is an incredible thing, right? You know that if these were white criminals who were robbing, for example, black pastors, or hitting a black man with their car and then robbing him, it'd be a national news story. But black on black crime is never a national news story unless it is covered by the right, because the victimization of black victims, we have to ignore that so long as the victimizer happens to be a person who is black. Meanwhile, Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, again, running his city beautifully, it is incredible. When they are forced to actually confront the impact of their own principles, things get pretty ugly pretty quickly. So Eric Adams, you'll remember that not all that long ago, he bragged about New York being a sanctuary city on Twitter. He was talking about how New York was a wonderful place to be for illegal immigrants and how they were going to welcome everybody. And it was just so terrible that these terrible, terrible right-wingers were anti-illegal immigration. And so he tweeted out, yes, New York City will remain a sanctuary city under an Adams administration. We should protect our immigrants, period. Well, now he's having some second thoughts, because it turns out that Texas and Arizona and other states along the along the Mexican border, those states are saying, well, you know, we're not all that hot on illegal immigration, but you guys up there, you seem real hot on illegal immigration. So how about you take care of it? And so they've been busing illegal immigrants up to Washington, D.C. and New York. And this has led Eric Adams to whine about the fact that some 5,000 people have now been bused into New York City. And how's he going to take care of all these people? Well, I mean, let's put it this way. You guys say that it's racist when the city of Laredo, Texas, which has a population of 35,000, is forced to take in tens of thousands of illegal immigrants every year by the Border Patrol and by the terrible Biden administration. 5,000 illegal immigrants arrive in your city of 10 million people, and you're already whining about it. So where are your principles, dude? I thought that I thought it was a sanctuary city and everything was going to be fine. Borders are bad, aren't they? Explain, Eric Adams.
We can't have the historical, I believe people should be housed, but just don't house them on my block. Everyone's block is going to be impacted by this. And so we have to add our advocacy with our ability to help our neighbors. And we need everyone on board with this, you know, because as I stated last week, our schools are going to be impacted. Our healthcare system is going to be impacted. Our infrastructure is going to be impacted. But we're willing to do our job, and we're going to do our job, and we're going to need all New Yorkers to be with us on this.
Okay, so now he's complaining. These terrible people at the border shipping these illegal immigrants here. It is amazing to watch the left be clocked in the head by its own boomerang. They throw this policy out there, we're going to nail you with our own policy, and then the boomerang comes back, smacks him in the head. They have no idea what to do about it. It's also amusing to watch as Democrats start to infight over the fact that the radicals in their own caucus are really bad for them. According to Daily Wire, New York State Senator Jessica Ramos, who is no right-winger, slammed Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez Sunday afternoon on Twitter for allegedly never being present in the community she's supposed to be serving. Well, that's because she serves the community of Instagram, right? I mean, she's not actually a congressperson. She doesn't do anything for a living. She goes on Instagram and she talks about things while sticking her face in bowls of ice, and then the media cover her as though she has actually promoted a single piece of meaningful legislation her entire career, which she is not. The remarks from Ramos, chair of the New York Senate Committee on Labor, came in response to an exchange that Ocasio-Cortez had online regarding healthcare. A tweet from a random Twitter account said, quote, a couple of the most highly respected health policy academics recently set up a meeting with AOC's office to discuss NHS-style healthcare reform. They were told bluntly by AOC staff, we're not doing healthcare right now. I'm really sorry to hear this happen. It's not representative of me nor my values, Ocasio-Cortez responded. If you can connect with details, I'd appreciate it. I'll follow, so DMs will be open. Ramos responded directly, quote, maybe if you spent more time in your office with your team, you'd know what goes on. Just saying it would be nice if you breathed our air. So as an employer, what happens with the staffer who said this? So she's actually getting clocked by the left AOC. Ramos responding to criticism of her calling out Ocasio-Cortez by explaining that AOC's offices are on the same floor as hers and she's never there. Ramos said, our district offices are on the same floor in the same building. She's barely ever present in the community. It's an indisputable fact. Well, I mean, that is true because, again, she's not a congressperson. She's an Instagram star. Her job isn't to be with her constituency. Her constituency is the media, and the media love her. And that's so true of pretty much everybody who governs in these big blue cities. Lori Lightfoot's constituency is not the people of Chicago. It's the media. Gavin Newsom's constituency is not the people of California. It's the media. All of these mayors and governors of big blue cities and big blue states, they're all performative actors on behalf of the media. They're not interested in what their constituencies actually want. And then they wonder why they're losing more and more voters to the Republican Party. That would be one giant reason. I know what you're thinking. It's time to binge some more Ben Shapiro videos. Well, you are right. You should. But first, like and subscribe. Perfect. I'll see you in the next video.